Hi, I'm Ray Smith. This is my studio that's on the Gowanus Canal in Brooklyn. This is also my home and where I've been, where all of the work is stored that I've done since 1985 when I first moved to New York. A lot of the work here is of different periods. It's also work of friends of mine and collaborations that we've had throughout the years. The work that you're seeing here now is a series of paintings that I started working on in mirrors about probably 4 or 5 years ago, during the change of that disastrous election of 2016. And I wanted to find something that, in a sense, was a gesture of rage and outrage. And so the use of these mirrors, in a sense, allowed me to have the things shift all of the time, as though they were little cards of memory of sorts, even though they're much larger than a card. But somehow, the way that you would move around them and into them would give you a different painting every time that you looked at it. So it's like, it is in a way like turning the whole studio into a type of disco ball. So a lot of things go on in the studio at all times, which is what allows me to sort of work on many different things at one time. All of the sculptures are on wheels, and all the chairs and tables are on wheels, and somehow it turns into this like skating rink of sorts, and where you can, I seem to be able to move around and push things around, and they end up in different order somehow. And of course the mirrors, if you're moving on them, if you're moving around the mirrors, then you're going to see different things and different lights and different times and different reflections. So somehow there are images that are appearing and disappearing as you kind of move through the day and move through the room. And somehow those, I guess, stay in my memory in a way, or whatever way they can. And so now I think that I'm sort of trying to paint between the images and paint between the reflections. So somehow they're like representations of ghosts of some sort. The space is haunted by the energy of a testimony of many souls. All of those who have inhabited it and danced under these disco balls, and the echoes of everyone who have come to collaborate with it. The building is the object of art, and everything in it part of that flux. Portions of these pieces are older, and then they just get recombined and go right back into the studio as some kind of recyclable of sorts. And it's to create the entire sort of scenery of the space that all of this is happening in. So it's almost like a theater set or a movie set, in where all of the things and all of the parts are kind of moving at all times, and then they're the ones that are both reflecting themselves into themselves again, and yet becoming something different, almost like memories, and where the last moments that you had shifted the direction of all of the memories that you had earlier. These here were a series of pieces in where I mirrorized the glass. I would make a painting on a piece of paper, and then I would mirrorize the glass. And so I could select where the mirror was going to go. And so I began to be able to play with the way that the images reflected, and what did they reflect on. And now I had a stable image in the background. So these were like bulletin boards of sorts. The studio, though, has been a space in where it's always, the entire space is the corpus of the work. So say, in this case, it's almost like everything fit exactly into the space, even though it had been done in different spaces. Part of it had been done in Florida, other parts had been done in Mexico, and then it all sort of comes together here. But of course, we've all been enclaustered into our own homes and into our own minds and into our own contemplations of our own histories and the histories of the greater society that we're participating in. And of course, all of that stuff enters into this sort of spaceship to Mars. And that's what's so gratifying about having a space this large and having a place where you can collaborate with others and things, so that somehow all of these different ideas come together in one place into one body of sorts, almost as though it was some kind of fun house. Everybody seems to collaborate with it. It's almost like, it's almost like when the trees fall off of the leaves fall off of a tree during the fall. You can't sit there and start judging the aesthetics of the way that the leaves are falling on the floor. They just fall on the floor, and that's the way they're supposed to be. They're exactly where they're supposed to be. And somehow, everything in this place seems to kind of fall in its place at a particular point, and somebody shoves it over here, or somebody shoves it over there, or my daughter comes in here and starts moving things around, or moves the chair or something, and then suddenly I look in another corner and I just think, oh my God, that combination is perfect. So if I was sitting here trying to figure out what body of work I was working on, I think that the damn thing would get too serious. So at this particular point, it's better to just let the place rock.